SnowWalkerOne, always a pleasure. We're discussing the issue of words and meanings, and I say that words have no meanings apart from those which we put on them. And the meanings that we put on them are completely subjective. You and I are using what is often called the language of Shakespeare in our little interaction here. And Shakespeare was an absolute master of the use of the English language, and he was also an absolute master at analyzing the limitations of the English language and the ambiguity of language itself. One of his most famous illustrations of that point is in the play Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7, where Lady Macbeth and Macbeth himself are ready to go in and kill King Duncan, and so Macbeth can become king. Well, quote, Macbeth says, "If we should fail, ? Lady Macbeth says, "We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail." ! Now, that looks pretty straightforward, what they're saying, but in the hands of a skilled Shakespearean actor, the meaning can change radically simply by the way that it is said. Lady Macbeth could be saying, or when Macbeth asks if we should fail, she could be saying, "We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail." In other words, so what? Or she could be saying, when he says if we should fail, she could be saying, "We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail." In other words, if we fail, the consequences will be horrible. The previous one was, who cares? We're getting the crown here. It's worth risking our lives for. So, that's a more famous, within the acting profession, illustration of the ambiguity of words. That can be applied to just about anything. The way people speak, their tone of voice, the way that they piece words together, the way that they're pieced together by the user or by the person who is altering the way they've been used, but feel free, I don't mind. I think you know what I'm talking about here. Can completely change the meaning to the point where words are actually misleading in what they're trying to say. I'm sure you've gotten into a conversation with somebody where you were trying to make a certain point and they just weren't getting it, and then suddenly at some point a light bulb kind of went on and they went, "Oh," and you can almost see them mentally rewinding everything. And suddenly, now that they've sort of gotten into your headspace, everything that you've told them suddenly makes sense, when prior to that light bulb going off, nothing did. That's a very simple illustration of the tendency of words to fail us. Misunderstandings. Another example, I don't want to go on forever here, but using language, tell me all there is to say about a very simple thing. Choose anything. I'll say an apple, just as a for instance. Okay, well, an apple is red. Well, okay, you've just said an apple is red. That implies that the person you're talking to knows what red is. They might not. So you'll have to say, okay, red is a color. And then they might not know what color means. What's color? Now, this may sound silly, but we do have to teach people that. They're called children. We have to tell them what all that means. Otherwise, it would be self-evident. We have to tell them what these meanings are. And it's all subjective, because we use language to tell them what language is and how language works. You can't describe something using words without assuming that the other person already knows the meaning of the words that you're using. And that's where you end up in trouble. It's a phenomenon called infinite regression, because every positive statement inevitably, using that kind of examination of words, assumes, or leads to rather, another question. Because I'm describing something, but I have to use other words, which may need to be described, but that they can only be described using other words. So you keep having to go back and back and back, and again, you just go off the map. It goes on forever. Language is not up to what we're attempting to get it to do. It's not that precise. If you're interested, there's any number of other ways to discuss this. I'm game. It's a field called etymology, the study of the meanings of words and how they change and how we can understand the meanings of words. So, that's what I was trying to say. I suppose I am unclear. But I'm up to continuing along these lines. And by the way, if there's anything you'd like me to say that you can really, that you can use in one of your videos of me, please let me know. I'd be happy to say, within reason, anything that you would like, if you'd like to include that in your next video parody of me talking. Thank you. I mean that.